Burna Music Group, one of the three largest music conglomerates on planet, is in a battle over Burna Boy's early catalogue. Yes, read that again. Not a local distributor, not an indie label. Burna Music Group. Billions of dollars in assets. They're fighting over the recordings that helped build one of Africa's biggest stars. The story is still unfolding, but the picture that it paints is one that I've been watching for years. My name is Bayo Eshola. I'm an entertainment lawyer. I'm your host for Afropop Law. And today, I want to talk about early career deals, what they mean, what they cost, and why they keep coming back to haunt artists who signed them long after those artists have outgrown them. Here's the basic architecture of the problem. An artist signs a recording deal early in their career. The artist is hungry, he is unsigned, and the label they're signing with is taking what feels like a real risk on them. The deal will reflect that. The label will take a very huge percentage from whatever your music generates. The label will control your master recordings. The label will retain rights over that catalog that can stretch over years, sometimes decades. Then an artist blows up globally. The catalog that was worth a modest advance in 2013 is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And the label still owns it. This is not unique to Burna Boy. No, Taylor Swift, yes, our queen of heartbreak songs. She fought for years trying to own her masters. And then when she could not, she actually went back to the studio to re-record her entire catalog from scratch. Prince, the legendary Prince, at some point in his career, he changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol in protest of a label that owned his recordings. These are just the famous examples, but they all tell the same story. An artist who did not understand what ownership meant at the time they were signing, and only understood what ownership meant when it was too late. Now, let's bring it back to Nigeria and to Burna Boy specifically. You see, Burna Boy's early catalog, that's the songs from before his global breakthrough, they all sit inside contracts that were negotiated at a very different moment in his commercial trajectory. The question at the heart of the Burna dispute is who owns those recordings now? Who profits from them? Who has the right to license them? Who has the right to monetize them? And whether the terms of those deals are still binding today in their entirety. Under the Copyright Act 2022, regardless of whatever an artist signs, they still retain moral rights in their work. But you see, the economic rights in a work of art, as the right to profit, right to license, right to perform any commercial activity tied to that work, those can be assigned. And in most Nigerian recording contracts, they are assigned for the duration of copyright. In Nigeria, duration of copyright is the lifetime of that author plus 70 years. Yes, you heard what I just said. Which means that under a standard recording contract in Nigeria, a label can still be profiting from Burna Boy's early catalog 70 years after he has gone. That is the contract that labels are offering to young and hungry and desperate Nigerian artists. And most of them, they signed it without a lawyer in the room. The Burna dispute is not just a Burna Boy problem. It is a signal to every young African artist that the terms that you sign in your deal at the beginning of your career can actually have consequences that far outlast that career itself. So, what am I saying in essence? The time for you to understand what it is that you are signing is not after you have signed or when the legal team of a Warner or Sony or a major music label is sitting across the table from yours. The time to understand what you sign is now. You see, your early music is not just your legacy, it is a commercial asset, and somebody is going to own it. The only question now is whether that somebody is going to be you. My name is Bayo Eshola. This is Afropop Law. Subscribe, follow, and share this with any artist that you know that is about to sign their first deal. Because what you give away at the beginning of your career is the hardest thing to get back. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.